outer hips today. Um, kind of just go with the flow and see how things feel. It's kind of like a grayer day, which um, the weather has been like so nice. It kind of feels like spring or even early fall. It doesn't have that same like heavy summerness to it. You almost want to like add a little bit more heat to your practice, add maybe just a little more vigor. So we'll see how it goes. Again, I'm going to start in temple pose. Just I think that with our outer hip practices, this is a really nice place to begin. See how things feel. Although it might be a little intense if your hips are a little tight, so take it slow as you need to. Let your shoulders come up to your ears and rock from side to side. Nothing too fancy here. Don't have to worry about syncing up your breath quite yet. Just starting to come into your physical body. Then let's dip our right shoulder in, press your right knee away. We'll stay on the right side for the next two passes. Inhale, come back to center. And again, we'll go to the right. Press your right knee away. Look to the left. One more time, come back through center. Exhale, dip the right shoulder in, gaze to the left. Come into center. Left shoulder, look to your right. Notice any physical differences. Back to middle. Exhale, left shoulder. Back to center. One more time to the right. Come back to center. Square your shoulders up. Straighten your legs. Draw your toes in towards each other. Inhale your arms out and up. On an exhale, take your right hand down your right side and slide your right hand down your right leg. Stretch through your left side. Inhale, come back to center. Right arm comes up. Left arm slides down and reach your right arm straight over, really active through both arms. Inhale, come back to center, both arms up. We'll do one more time on each side. Press down through your feet. Lengthen the space between left shoulder and left hip. Keep your arms over your head, a little extra stretch that way. And then back down, left hand slides over. Oh, inhale, come back up. Slight bend in your knees. Exhale, dive forward with a long spine. Bring your hands to the earth. Inhale, lengthen out halfway. Shift the weight towards your toes. And exhale, bend at your elbows so they point straight back as you hinge forward. We'll wave twice like that, twice more. So inhale, lengthen out, crown of your head reaching forward. Exhale, hinge. Keep your knees as bent as you need to get your hands on the earth. Inhale, lengthen. Shoulders move down towards your hips. Exhale, fold. We'll come back up to standing. Bend your knees first. Scoop your heart forward. Reach your hands out. Sweep arms above your head. Exhale, pull your hands through center. Interlace your fingers behind your back. Move your straight arms away from your hips. Reach your sternum up. Keep your chin tucked. And then dive back forward again. This time, big stretch across the front of your shoulders. Slightly bent knees. Soft neck. Gently move, or if you need a little bit more pace, you can always find that too, but we'll go from side to side at a pace that feels right for you. Starting to wake up the inner hips. And come back to center. Release your hands. Grab a hold of your elbows. Again, shift the weight towards the front of your foot. Relax your neck. Find release in the back of your torso. Bring your hands down to the mat and step into Downward dog. Bend one knee at a time. Check in with your body, see how things feel. And of course, as we check in, we're not judging, just taking notes without critique. Ooh, that was a big ankle pop. I assure you everything is okay and still intact. All right, in downward dog. Lift thy heels over thy toes. Tuck your chin. Lift the space behind your heart so you're lifting out of your shoulders as you roll forward. Already engage your fingertips. Stretch from the crown of your head out through your heels, hips the same height as your shoulders. Draw navel to spine, lift up from center. Exhale back to downward dog, soften through your ankles. Heels over toes, chin tucks, navel to spine, lifting yourself away from the mat as you come forward like a wave coming to shore. And then you find this earthy quality of plank. So we go from the liquid movement to the earthy movements, kind of some fire in it too. Let's find the liquid movement again. Lift from center and then shift back to downward dog. Roll forward one more time. Think very mercurial in terms of your movement. And then find this steadfastness. You have a solid feeling here in plank. Now draw your navel up, point your elbows back, and all the way down to the mat we'll go. Whole body hits at the same time. Fingertips press down. Actually, let's do this first 2 rounds without our hands even on the mat. So the first one will be an inch or so off the mat. Loop your shoulders, lengthen the front of your body and come up into cobra. And then soften. Keep the tops of your feet pressing down and back. Shoulders loop. The back of your neck stays long. And then soften. Okay, on this last one, if you want to use your hands, you can. Keep your toes pressed down, shoulders loop. Use your back muscles first, and then your arms to find a little bit more height. And exhale, release. Hands back underneath your shoulders. Tuck your toes, knees lift, navel lifts, and then through plank. Elbows pop back to downward dog. Take a deep breath in, deep into your belly. And exhale, open mouth. Let's do that 2 more times. Stick out your tongue as you exhale. Last one. Brilliant. Okay, now lift your right leg. Inhale, up and back. Exhale, take your knee, pull it in close as you shift forward, foot between your hands. Rotate your back heel so you can lower your back foot to the mat and you're in heel to arch alignment. Follow your left arm up for warrior 2. Well, I've got a bunch of hair in my face here. All right, warrior 2, front knee over front ankle. Flip your front palm. Inhale, keep bending your front knee as you come into reverse warrior. Now it's a little bit different from yesterday. Exhale, right elbow passes right knee. Left arm comes up and over, and we'll send our hips to the back of the mat for Skandasana with your left knee bent. Front leg stays straight, so you feel the stretch on the inside of your leg. Keep your hips low, and we'll travel back to the front of the mat. Hands underneath your shoulders. Inhale, round the space behind your heart. Exhale, loop your shoulders, reach your heart forward, left heel back. Plant your palms. Step with patience and control back into plank. And exhale slowly, with more control, lower down. Back to fluidity of cobra. Balanced by the patient strength of plank. Into downward dog. Left leg. Inhale, reach back. Exhale, knee hugs into center. Shift forward. Left foot right between your hands below your nose. Rotate your back heel down. Right arm leads the way. Brush your hair dramatically out of your face as you rise. Come into reverse warrior. Exhale, your left elbow will pass left knee. Right arm reaches up, sweeps forward, and then as your hand comes back, your hips come back, and you're in Skandasana with your right knee bent. Keep this leg active, and then we'll walk our hands back to the front. Square up, one lunge pulse here, navel to spine. Press the earth away with your fingertips. Inhale, lengthen your spine, heart reaches forward. Palms flat, step into plank. Navel to spine as you lower. Collarbones open, shoulder blades draw together. And then back to downward dog. Smoothing some of those transitions from last time. We're not going to go much faster, but it might feel that way just because we're pausing a little less. Inhale, right leg. Exhale, knee to chest, foot between your hands. Back heel lowers. Left hand leads the way, sweeps up. Come straight into reverse warrior, broaden across your right side. Exhale, find side angle. Come back to Skandasana at the back of the mat. Walk your hands forward. Square your shoulders, lunge, pulse, pull energy in from the earth. Exhale, reach your heart forward. Palms flat, step into plank. Exhale, resist gravity. Feel your strength as you lower. And then find smooth nature of cobra before we find strength again from plank to downward dog. Left leg, inhale up. Knee to chest. Foot between your hands. Heel to arch alignment. Right arm leads. Square up with the side of your mat. And then find reverse warrior. Front knee very bent still. Exhale. Reach your right arm up, forward, down to the earth. Hips stay low. Skandasana. Skandasana back to the front. Lunge, pulse. You're on your fingertips underneath your shoulders. Exhale. Palms flat. Into plank. Press into your fingertips as you lower down. Helps ease tension in your wrist and activate your shoulders. Cobra. And then back to downward dog. That was the left leg, so we'll do one more round. Right, inhale. Exhale, knee to chest. Foot between your hands. Left leg, reach forward, coming through warrior two. Reverse, big expansive movement here. Dive forward, sweep your left arm over your head. Come to the back of the mat, stretch the inner hips. Back to the front, feel the stretch in the other. And this is really about spinal movement, chin to chest, lift behind your shoulders, lengthen your spine, spinal extension here. And then exhale back into plank to the mat. Shoulders loop, gaze is down slightly ahead. Release from plank to downward dog. Last time, left leg, inhale. Knee to chest, strong movement here. Foot between your hands. Ground your right heel. Right arm carries you up. Left hand flips. Exhale, elbow passes knee. Right arm reaches forward. Slide back. Stay low. Square shoulders to the front. You're on your fingertips. Front knee over ankle. Inhale, spinal flexion. Exhale, spinal extension. Palms flat. Step into plank. And all the way down to the mat. Shoulders loop, lengthen the front of your body as you rise. Release, and then let's come back into child's pose. Send hips to heels and reach your hands forward. Take a moment, connect with your breath. Perhaps it's a little bit quicker than it was before. Just tune in to how you're feeling. What is the weather of your mind right now? And from child pose, we'll come through all fours, and then take your feet out to the side, and we will come to our backs. Let me get this little knot out of the way, and then I'll be much more comfortable. Okay, first things first, let's do a little bit of outer hip stretch. So take your right ankle to your top of your left thigh and pull your right shin in and your left knee in. Clasp your hands behind your left hamstring. Relax your shoulders. Maybe you want to explore, roll a little bit to one side and then the other. Notice how that maybe intensifies or decreases any sensation. Maybe you can find some ways to make this slightly more interesting to you. Now from here, release your hands and slide your right shin across your left thigh. So you've got your legs sort of crossed. And then you could double. So if you wanted to, you could take your right foot behind your left calf and hook your right foot on there like we do in eagle pose. Otherwise, just squeezing the outside of your right calf to the outer left side of your left calf is perfectly fine. So you've got your legs lifted and your shins parallel with the earth. This is already work on your abdominals, but we're going to add a little bit of resistance. It's not going to seem like it should do much, but it's going to do a lot. So take your left hand, place it on your right thigh, and then place your right hand on top of your left hand. Now press hand into knee and knee back into hand. You might lift your head up just a little bit, and this should feel like a pretty good amount of work. Keep pressing and create that resistance within your body until you start shaking. Squeeze your legs towards each other. See that natural resistance. We don't even really have to move a lot to strengthen. Couple more breaths, stick with it. And then gently Release your legs. Take your hands over your head. Relax your neck, feet to the outside edges of your mat, and take your knees from side to side. Notice the tendency for your body to move at the pace of your mind. So perhaps your knees started going really fast, and just get curious about that. Come back to center. Cross your left ankle over your right thigh, and we'll take our outer hip stretch here on the other side. Hands interlaced behind hamstring or on shin. Notice where you have tension that's unnecessarily popping up, taking energy away from what really we're trying to pay attention to. Like our shoulders are like, we want to help, but they can't. They should just relax. Same with your forehead. Unnecessary use of energy. Sometimes I notice that whichever side, like on this side, my right side crunches a little bit. So I need to lengthen my right hip away from my right shoulder. And that changes a little bit of the sensation for me. I feel a little bit more in my outer left hip. Okay, well, release your hands and slide your left shin across the top of your right thigh. Same thing here. So you're either squeezing the outer part of your right calf into the outer part of your left calf, and you'll feel that on your, I can feel this on my IT band. Or maybe you go for the second level there and you hook your right, your right calf over your left foot. Starts to get a little pretzely down here. Now you're going to take your right hand on top of left thigh, left hand to right hand. And if that was kind of a strain on your neck, you could just keep your head down. But otherwise, press hands into knee and knee back into hand. You want to create that resistance so you can feel your vitality, feel your strength. We've talked about Agni. So we're lighting a fire at our center that keeps us going and holds us together. Keep breathing too. See if you can focus on your breath and maintain balance while you're in this transformative position. All right, gently release. Hands back over your head. Both feet on the mat, as wide as the mat. And then let's see how aware you are this time of the pace you create with your movement and what impact you can have on the conditions of your mind by slowing down your physical movements. We'll come back to center. Draw your knees into your chest. We'll get a little bit of momentum to roll to standing. So feet kind of come over your head and then sit back up. So we'll do little rolls on your spine. I like to do about 3. And then we'll be able to come to standing, maybe without even using our hands. Brilliantly done. I'm going to tie my shirt up back in the back. And we'll come to the top of our mats. Oh, my mat is all askew. This is no good. Can't handle it. Okay. A bit of my neuroses. So with your feet right underneath your hips, bend at your knees so your knees track right over the center of your feet. And that may actually be worth noticing because as I pointed out last time, and you can see my right leg goes in unless I'm aware and move it. So Go ahead, bend your knees, send your hips back, and then sweep your arms forward and up. Really lots of life in your all of your limbs here. And maybe lower your hips down a little bit more. So the weight is currently in your heels. You could lift your toes just to make sure. And your arms are as straight as you can get them, reaching right over your head. This could be a lot on your shoulders. So if they need to come down a little bit more, they can. Maybe you're reaching slightly just in line with your chin rather than your ears, but go to that place where it feels like a safe amount of transformation. Take a couple more mindful breaths here in chair pose, Utkatasana. And then straighten your legs. Bring your hands through center. Slight bend in your knees. Dive forward. Bring your hands to the earth and step back into downward dog. Move one foot, then the other. Just take a moment as we get set up here and ready for our wave, the meat portion of the class. Why do we call it? Why is the main part always got to be the meat? Main part could easily be something without meat. This could be the vegetable of the class, and that could be plenty. All right, enough of my train of thought. Inhale your right leg straight up and back. Bend at your right knee so you've got a really expansive physical sensation happening here where your right knee is pointed up, left heel is pressing down. You'll feel the stretch on both of your legs, and shoulders are square up to the front of the mat rather than your left shoulder dipping down. Now on your exhale, take your knee in through center, lift from center, lift your left heel even, shift forward, and then place your right foot squarely between your hands. Ground your left heel and follow your left arm up and over into warrior two. Take a moment just to get everything squared away. So you've got shoulders over hips, right knee over right ankle. Flip your front palm and reach your right arm up and over so it's behind your head. Now take your left hand, grab a hold of your right hand. We're going to bend backwards, but I really want you to keep your lower body exactly as it is. So don't go back anymore just to go back if it means straightening your front leg, because you'll lose out on some of the side stretch. That's what I really want you to experience. So you might be feeling it here just as we are. If you want to add on, square up your knee, make sure it's in place, and then just think about lengthening the space between your right armpit and right hip. More than think about going backward, it's just creating space along your side. We'll start to feel this a lot in your front leg, and it's going to take a lot of attention away from the strength that you need to keep supporting you in your back leg. So keep your focus broad across your base rather than just focus in on that one spot that's singing the loudest, because your back leg needs you to make sure that it's still integrated. One more breath here through your right lung. And then let's come back to warrior two. This should kind of feel like, woo, now I got the blood moving here again. Okay, bring both of your hands down to the mat, square your shoulders, and bring your left knee down. Walk your right foot over to the left and bring your right knee down. We're setting up for pigeon again, although the end of this is different than last time. Spoiler alert. If you know that Z pose is better for you, please take that option. We'll start here lifted with shoulders square, and then maybe come down to your forearms with your palms loosely pressed together so that we're not clenching through our hands. And this could be plenty of sensation. Take a moment here, just here, and see what this feels like. And then maybe if you want to go further, your elbows could come out wide and you would bring your forehead to the backs of your hands. Now you may notice that you're really favoring your right side. So see what happens when you press a little bit of the weight back over to the left, and you could use your right arm to help you do that. Might open up a new space to experience a new sensation. Maybe get a little bit further into your hip area. If you're folded all the way forward, slowly lift up. If you're on your forearms, you bring your hands back in towards your leg. Tuck your back toes. Draw your right knee in towards your chest, and then press all the way back, allowing your hip to open, just like how we started this sequence. Get the blood flowing through your hip again. Place your right foot back down to the mat. Inhale, heels over toes. Liquid-like movement again, chin to chest, roll forward. A more heated movement. Actually, I'm going to change this up. I want to do something different. Bring your knees down to the mat. Take your left fingertips to the outside of the mat. So you're on your left fingertips and your left elbows a little bit bent. I'm going to do it this way. Imagine there's a mat here. This is the edge of your mat. Now slide, come onto the knife edge of your right hand with your thumb pointed up, and slide your right hand forward as you twist to the left. You'll feel this stretch on your bottom part of your right shoulder. And then inhale, come back up. We'll switch sides. So you'll take your right hand fingertips, place on the outside edge of your mat, come to the knife edge of your left hand, left forearm, and then slide forward as you look to the right. We'll get a chance to do this again right now. Come back to center. Right hand under right shoulder, left fingertips press down, right forearm, thumb pointed up, slide forward, a little bit of a twist. Come back up to center, right hand to the outside edge of the mat, left forearm down, thumb up, reach forward, gaze to the right, and back to the middle. Place both forearms on the mat. Step back into forearm plank. Feel the strength here. And then press your knees down, hips down. Reach your heart forward. Press your feet down and back. Lift your heart. Exhale. Release hands underneath your shoulders. Tuck your toes. Knees up. And press through plank to downward dog. Inhale your left leg up and back. Bend at your left knee. So we're finding that same expansion. Once again, shoulders are squared. And you're creating space between right heel and left knee. This is one of my favorite things. On your exhale, draw your left knee in towards your chest. Lift from center using your strong core. Shift forward and place left foot between hands. Ground your back heel. Follow your right hand up and over. Pausing here for the same, just a couple of moments to get our everything calibrated. So I needed to widen my stance just a little bit there. So I felt like I was stable. Left knee is going to stay right here, right over your left ankle. Now, left hand reaches up and then bend at your elbow behind your head. With your right hand, grab a hold of your left hand. So you've got a hook here. Just like I said before, if this is enough side opener, feel free to pause here. Otherwise, just your upper body moves and you lengthen the space between left shoulder and left hip. Keep drawing up and in through the inseam of your back leg. And then focus on your breath. Really on that left lung. One more breath. Come back to warrior two. Expansion, blood flowing back through our hands again. Bring your hands to the mat. Lower your back knee. Walk your left foot to right hand. Left knee lowers near left hand. So left foot by right hand. I don't know if I said that correctly last time. Then I like to keep my back foot tucked just for starters to help keep my hips square. Eventually placing the top of my foot down on the earth. Noticing for a minute how this sensation feels much more alert and there's a lot of stimulation here. Not that there isn't when we fold, but what we're looking for is a little bit more of a lunar quality. So I'm going to start with my forearms on the earth, palms together. And as I start to ease my hips into this position, I can investigate lowering down further to place my forehead on the backs of my hands. Notice where your mind starts to go when we're in these pause points. Keep it here on your breath, in the space between your thoughts. If you're on your forearms or hands, start to walk your hands back in. Tuck your back toe, lift your back knee, lift your left leg and shake it out, and you shake it all out. Okay. Get the blood flowing. Oh, I'm gonna lose my earbud. And from here, place your left foot back to the mat. Roll forward into plank. Damn it, I did it again. Knees down. And we'll start with left fingertips on the outside of your mat. Come to your right forearm, thumb up. Slide your right hand forward like it's a drill bit and twist, look towards your left. Inhale, slide back. Right hand on the outside, left hand slides forward. Feel the length on your shoulders and your left side and your side body. One more time on each side. Oh, man. I had to take a beat there. That one really, I found something in that one. See if I can find it over here. No, not so much. Just a little bit of asymmetry on my sides. And then come back to center. We'll come back to forearms, palms down, fingertips spread wide, slide your feet back, moment in forearm plank, knees to the earth, hips to the earth, tops of feet press down away, pull your elbows towards you, lift your heart, release, and instead of coming through plank, actually, yeah, we'll come No, we're close to, yeah, we'll do this. Hands underneath your shoulders, tuck your toes, press up through plank and back to downward dog. Okay, right foot, inhale, reach back out through your heel. Exhale, drive your knee in through center, shift forward, foot to thumb. Lower your back knee to the mat. Now from here, you can either stay like this with both hands on the top of your right knee, if this is a lot of sensation for you, or perhaps you'd like to reach back and grab a hold. Let's do with your starting with your left hand instead of your right. So you'd reach back for your left foot with your left hand and perhaps pull your left knee in closer so you feel the stretch across your quad. Maybe even draw in through your hips like you were doing cat pose, so you feel like you're lengthening the front of your left hip. Another option of grabbing on with your right hand to your foot too. Maybe you could pull it in a little closer that way. And from here, gently release your left foot. Now for our peak, walk your right foot over to your left, ground your right knee, and instead of keeping your front part of your leg square with the front of your mat, I want you to draw it in closer to you. So it's almost right underneath your seat. And then reach back for your left foot with your left hand. Maybe you just kind of stop right here and see how this feels. We're working our way to floating mermaid pose or just to mermaid. So this could be the work for you today. The next point would be to draw your heel in closer and slide your foot into this crook of your elbow. And then maybe you stop here. You're currently using your right hand to help keep you up. Now the next step is to reach your right arm over your head like we did in Warrior 2 and grab a hold of your other hand. And ta-da, we are in mermaid pose. Hello, we're mermaids. We sing songs about forks and other stuff. And from here, once you feel like you fully got it, if you do, you'll release your right hand gently without snapping. Release your left foot. Face back towards the front of the mat. Let's shake our right leg out like we did after pigeon. That's a big pigeon pose kind of a thing right there. And then reground your right foot. Left leg, inhale, reach back out through your heel. Exhale, take your knee in through center. Foot to thumb. Back knee to the mat. Like before, we'll start with hands on our knees just to get some lunge sensation met. And moving on, you'll grab a hold of your right foot. I like to start with my thumb pointing down, and you can use your left arm like a fulcrum to square up your shoulders. If you have the range of motion to pull your right knee or right foot in towards your glute, do so you can experience a little bit more stretch of your right quad. Maybe adding the left hand. And keep reaching your heart up while drawing in through center to lengthen the front of your right hip. But we're not asking for you to move down and forward too much, because this is really about the front of your hip, but I don't want you to be right on top of your right knee either. Your right hip should be in front of your knee. We'll gently release. Take your hands, walk your left foot to your right hand, your left foot to your right hand, And you can pull your left foot in as you come into this sort of what's called a swan position like this rather than pigeon. I've heard it called that before. So keep your left hand on the dirt, and pull your right foot in. Grab a hold of the inside of your right foot with your thumb up. And this is a great stopping point just to see how it feels with your body today. Or maybe you want to keep sliding your foot into your elbow. Pause here, see how this goes. The next step is releasing your left hand from the mat. Sweep out and then behind your head, and then connect your hands. So this involves a little bit of core work to keep yourself lifted. So quite a big back bend as well. Lots of shoulder flexion and hip, lots of hip. A lot going on with this pose. It's nice though, it feels more joyful and expansive. I enjoy it. And we'll release our hands. You're like, yeah, I'm enjoying it too. How do I do this? All right, gently place your back foot on the earth. Reach your left foot back in the air, shake out your hip. And then left foot on the mat. We'll come through one last vinyasa, heels over your toes, roll into plank, exhale to the mat. Loop your shoulders, final cobra pose. Open your heart, release. And from here, hands under your shoulders through tabletop, and we'll come to our backs. All the way down. Keep your knees bent. Draw your knees in towards your chest. Arms out to your side. And gently drop your knees to the right. So we're in a simple twist here. You might want to bring one hand just in a comforting way to the top of your left knee, but not forcing anything. Take a deep breath and exhale all your energy downwards. Feel a strong connection with the earth, your mat, the shared support of whatever's below you. Bring your knees through center, all the way over to the left. Left hand to the top of right leg. Notice where you're still holding on or gripping and clinging. And let go. Could be in your forehead or your shoulders. Bring your knees back through center. Start with your feet on the mat, with your feet wide and your knees together. Bring left hand to your sternum, right hand to your belly. Pause here for a moment and check in with your lower back and your shoulders and do what you can to relax and release any tension. If your lower back felt any pinching or any part of your back felt any pinching, maybe stay here. Otherwise, feel free to slide your legs out for Shavasana and let go and release. Whether your knees are bent, your legs are stretched out, starting with the perimeter of your physical body, bring movement back through fingers and toes. Make those movements a little bit bigger, slowly working your way up into the bigger joints, eventually deepening your breath. Stretch your arms above your head. Bend your knees if they're not already. Roll to one side. Pause for a moment to check in and take note. What's happening in the conditions of your mind. Press up into a seated position at the front of the mat. Your palms together. Sit tall, lengthen through the crown of your head. Thank you for coming today for yourselves, for each other. Thank you to all of the yogis that came before us and allowing us to have this practice, as well as the people in our lives who created this space for us. May you and all living things be safe, be happy, be healthy, and live with strength and ease. Namaste. Thanks, everybody.
Thank
How was
you.
Zoe?
She's snoozing still.
Oh, good.
Had some pretty cool dreams, it sounded like.
Hey,
See you in a few.
What was that?
What is the difference between, you don't do upward dog, do you?
I don't teach upward dog, no.
But what is the difference between that and the cobra?
So a lot of times there's a couple of reasons why I don't teach upward dog. One is because it causes a lot of people pain in their lower back because they're not supporting themselves correctly.
Uh-huh.
So that's one reason why. And you get some shoulder problems because their shoulders will cave in rather than open up.
Mm-hmm.
So like if we spend all day like this, what I want to reinforce people is this action. It's so to me in my school, that's the most important action of that movement rather than this like big expressive back bend. There's other ways and safer ways for us to get that same thing.
But and the difference is just that the upward dog is taking your hips more off the ground.
Yes.
Right? It's just more extreme.
Yeah, I don't like to do it a lot, honestly, because it kind of hurts my lower back. But you press the tops of your feet down and then lift your heart up. So my legs aren't touching. And then when you come through back to downward dog, you come over the tops of your feet.
Oh, yeah. Okay. And so with the cobra, we're keeping basically from our waist on down on the floor.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. It's not like a bad pose. There's nothing. I mean, if people do it, that's great. I just think that there's other ways and safer ways for us to get that same experience.
No, in the past, I've been to a couple that had it, and it was painful.
Yeah, it is. And in big group classes, they often don't have time to like give you the cues you need specific for your body to keep your back safe.
Gotcha. Okay. That's all I had.
Yeah.
Thank you for doing this today.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you guys for being there.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.